How's everybody doing? Well, we are going to go with part two of the moon in Aries in a woman's chart for men only, part two. Of course, a woman can see it, no, but I'm pretty sure the women already know who they are, if they have an Aries moon. It's basically really for the man to understand in hopes that he may be able to handle and treat the Aries woman or the Aries moon woman a little better than he has. So we're gonna jump right in and we're gonna talk about the Aries moon in a woman's chart, part two. Okay, here is my watermelon martini. Delicious, delicious. Okay, so let us go right in without further ado and talk about the Aries moon woman. Now, I gotta say, I have read a lot of the comments, for the Aries moon woman, part one, and let me tell you, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. With the Aries woman has no patience to hear a long, drawn out story. She'll rather give you her own drawn out story and expect you to take it, listen to it, not interrupt her, take it in. But the other way around, no. You guys are right. For those of you who have written on my comment on the sidebar, the Aries woman has a double standard, but so does the Aries man, or the Aries moon man, or the Aries moon woman. They like to be the center of the controversy, of the drama, or even the discussion of it. But they don't want to be bothered by listening to your story or listening to the specificities of your situation. Get to the point. That's the Aries and Moon Aries woman's attitude. But God forbid that you should treat her the same way and rush her. Tell her, Miss Aries, speed up. Get to the point. She'll slap the shit out of you or curse you out or do something and continue on with her story. So she is not very tolerant of having to listen to other people's story. Their sob stories. Everybody got a sob story, according to her. And she probably is right. We all do, from time to time. She don't want to be bothered with your particular story. Unless somehow it configures her inclusion in any way, then maybe. And even then, it better be nice or good or she's the rescuer or something. Something that she will feel is worth her wasting her time listening to your story. Whatever it is. I can't tell you how many women with the moon in Aries I have encountered that show this extreme form of selfishness, this kind of self-interest narcissism. But we cannot blame her because what she makes into an art form already exists within the human male, who is also the same way, but maybe not as short-tempered or short-fused as the Aries and Moon female. Okay? Like I mentioned in part one, the Aries Moon woman is extremely competitive. She does not like anyone getting in her way or getting in her way of her achievements. She works hard in school and often finds herself in the leadership position. Also, she tends to be more emphatic, polite, and diplomatic than the Aries Moon man, at least outside in the open public. But behind closed doors, she can be just as ruthlessly alpha in her delivery as the Aries in moon, the Aries moon man. Okay. Also, she tends to be more popular when she's young with everybody. When she gets older and starts approaching the maturing years of developing or connecting as a union and interpersonal relationship, then the situations change and it becomes a whole different story. Her earlier years are often rosy, okay? Like I mentioned in part one, she has a lot of friends and she's popular. It's almost like a fucked up setup because just because that may be the situation doesn't mean that that's going to be the whole case scenario her entire life. Yet friendships do involve some frictions. No? But as she moves to her 30s, the moon in Aries begins to create turmoil in her life. Oh my God. Oh my God. The Aries moon in a woman's chart past the age of 30. Because here's the thing, below age 30, oh my God, she's the best. But she's only the best because they perceive her to be the best. And they treat her that way. She's so open, so verbal, so vocal, so expressive, so commanding and demanding. You know, all the male traits. That of course the girls are gonna follow suit. And the men will toe the line. She will rule the high school or the junior high school. And even college. You're still below age. When you graduate from a 4-year college, you should be at least 25, 26. So it's still young. It's still a false sense of reality of what reality really is. College, when you graduate from college, and then you go and get your master's, which is another 2.5 years, you're about 28, 29, 28, 29, 27, 28, 29. It's still very young. And when you have these high degrees, you have a sense of false security, thinking that you've reached the level of maturity because you got advanced degrees, that now you can tackle life on life's terms. Then you get bitch slapped and you fall on your ass. And by the time you reach age 30 with all your degrees in education and background and learning and blah, 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 you think you'll be in a better station to handle life and manage life in a way that will bring you happiness according to the vision that you've had before you reach past age 30. And this is the biggest disappointment. And to a certain degree, we can say that this is true of the Aries moon man. But we feel it and see it more apparently in the Aries moon woman. Again, because we're living in a patriarchal society in which women are being placed as second-class citizens. Oh, we don't talk about it openly, but we know it's true. We know it's going on. So already it's a bad start to begin with the world at large and her position taking center stage past age 30 and what that will mean and what that will entail. The question is the woman with the moon in Aries emotionally prepared to handle life on life's terms and not have it been manipulated emotionally according to her own terms? Because she might have gotten away with it below age 30, but past age 30, it becomes a whole different ballgame, especially when she gets involved in interpersonal relationships with the opposite sex. I told you about my friend Jessica and what she's been through. Lord, I just mentioned her name. God forbid. Shit. Well, I won't mention her last name. You know? It's fucked up. So understand that when you're past age 30, it gets worse for the Aries and Moon or woman instead of getting easier. With the man, whether he is below age 30 or past age 30, it seems to work for him. It's a bitch though for the woman. Okay? As she gets older, the situation intensifies. This might sound paradoxical, and to a certain degree it is, because I did mention I got a hair, orange peel stuck in my teeth. I did mention that she tends to get better in managing these energies as she gets older, but not right away. Not right away. We're talking about when she's past age 40, going into her 50s, is when she starts to handle this combination much better. She becomes more happier, more stable, more balanced. It's not going to happen at 30 or at 40. 45, maybe. We're heading there, but it's difficult. Okay? So her situation, her energy, her interactions with the opposite sex seems to intensify as she gets older, not lending for any kind of like breathing or leeway. Yeah. Sadly, this can make the people around her impatient also. Well, bitch, grow up. Stop talking at me like that. Stop yelling at me. You know, it exhausts those around her that truly care for and love her. The problem with the Aries moon woman is that she doesn't see how her abrasive behavior, which she doesn't mean to be, affects those around her. And this includes her job, her workplace, her family life, her neighbors, the environment, her school setting, anywhere and everywhere. She comes across, from the outside looking in, as a woman who's angry and has issues. When I mean, that might not necessarily be the case, but most times it is. I'm gonna say another thing about the Aries moon in a woman. These women tend to have anger issues that goes back way when they were young. A lot of these women with the Aries moon have been raped, molested, assaulted, or badly mistreated by the men in their lives. And this can go back to their own families, down to the boyfriend who date rapes her, and she's not even aware that she's been date raped, and accepts it. And over years develops an internalized anger that she doesn't know where it comes from. Many women with the moon in Aries suffer from fibroids, especially women of color. You know, so if you are a woman and you have the moon in Aries, be careful of fibroids. If you have fibroids, then you have a lot of anger in your cells in your body and within your own makeup matrix. A trauma has occurred to you, which you probably have blocked or have not acknowledged psychologically, and then comes out in aberrant, visceral ways concerning the personality and how you interact with other human beings. I can't tell you how many women I've had to treat with fibroids, stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. Almost all of these women have the moon in Aries and come from anger because these women have experienced some form of trauma in which they have not been able to transcend. If you're that type of woman, you need to seek psychological help in the sense of um, a therapist or even an astrologer that can help you iron out these anger dynamics within you and give you the proper healing tools and methods for self-healing, and then reorient you into how to use your internalized moon and Aries energies in a way that's constructive and healthy for you and for those around you. That is what I would love for the woman with an Aries moon to take from this video. Is that understand that you're not at fault about anything. But women are not taught to respond aggressively, especially when they are assaulted in a way that is undignified to a woman. And our culture, look at Harvey Weinstein. 60 women came forward. 60 women. These women, no doubt, if not half of them, have a moon in Aries and stood to this motherfucker. And now I hope he rots in jail. You know? So I hope that these women with the moon in Aries, they're probably the ones that have brought this man to justice. And these women are probably very scarred and wounded, traumatized. And we as a nation has done very little to compensate and vindicate these women. And these are our women, our American women. You know? So it's kind of fucked up and a very sad, sad, sad situation that going into the 21st century, we're still dealing with these basic fundamental issues of how men and women relate to each other. How the fuck are we going to ever reach divinity and return back to God when we still don't respect each other as human beings? We made it so much easier for the devil if we believe in such a being, because we all know it's the same God. Okay? So what the fuck? I have to take a take on this one. Okay. There's so much, so I'm trying to figure out which angle to do, because I'm not doing a part 3. I'm keeping it part 2 for each. Otherwise, I'll never finish the moon series. And I've been doing the incompatibility and compatibility science for over a year. You know, it's a lot of work, a lot of videos. The same thing with the moon. And we're talking about 12 videos. 12, I'm not 12, not 12 videos. We're talking about 24 videos. The Aries moon for the woman, part 1 and 2. That's 24 videos. And then for the Aries moon in a man, part 1 and 2. That's another 24. So we're talking about 48 videos just dealing on the moon series for men and women, for both sexes. It's a lot of videos for a particular series. Okay, so I have to be very sparingly as to what I choose to give that's more significant. Anything else, you will have to get a professional chart services done to particularly cater with your specific needs and particular issue and situation. Okay, but understand that although the Aries moon, when it comes to a woman, doesn't get better, the men or the women that are her friends may choose to stay away from her or abandon her or dismiss her. Otherwise, behind her back, they might plot strategies to take revenge on her and hurt her. This is the other thing about the Aries moon. It's happened to me. I've had so many people plot my demise, plot my downfall, just because I'm a very assertive and strong-willed man. It seems like if you're a man or a woman, it is a trait that tends to really threaten people on a core level. It is tolerated in men, but unforgivable if a woman possesses the same traits. The man will be flogged, like given lashes, but the woman will be crucified on the cross in a worse state. Maybe like St. Paul, who was crucified upside down, or Peter. You know, it will be worse for her. How dare you express this masculine energy and you're a woman, especially in a Western culture like the United States, or living in the patriarchal period where women should toe the line and hide their power or risk being killed. We are still dealing with these basic fundamental issues. The Aries moon woman has a really, she got her work cut out for her. She has her work cut out for her. She has to fight for her own dignity as a woman and then fight the opposite sex who refuses to see her in equal terms and will subjugate her or even destroy her should she ever shows her natural masculine energies, which is a divine human right, because Jehovah or God is both man and woman. Elohim, the Jewish people know what I'm talking about. It's man and woman, as above, so below. So we are men and women individually. How could we not be a part of the creator without having this bisexuality or duality of spirit? But in our Western culture, like in the East, Middle East, and Far East, we do not respect this. And the woman becomes a source of liability and a scapegoat, a whipping board that we can dump all of our excuses and failures to. It's awful. Yet, this is the plight of the woman. Even in 21st century today. By the way, I want to make a correction. I said to read certain books. I mentioned If There Be Thorns, and I said that it was written by Sidney Sheldon. I made a mistake. That book was written by V.C. Andrews. V.C. Andrews wrote Flowers in the Attic. Okay, My Sweet Andrina. Um, what else? I think Petals in the Wind. One of those. That Flowers in the Attic. Well, again, I'm talking to millennials and people younger than me. If you're in my generation, in my 50s, you understand what I'm talking about. V.C. Andrews wrote a trilogy of books, or an anthology of books, which I've read them all. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I mean, I had a Hellenistic New England, Connecticut education. So I was taught, like they say, whitewash, the white race culture, the culture of, Hellenistic period, all that. Yes, I had to learn about the African period and all of the other races when I left college, and entered grad school. But I was all trained and taught that the world started by the Greeks. Greece is the seat of Western civilization and culture. Not true. But we were taught this, because the Greek philosophy of culture came from Egypt. But that wasn't taught to me when I was in Fairfield in Connecticut and one of these great universities in Ivy Leagues. We were taught the white culture, which is it was great. I loved it. I just wish it was true. No? But I still made it work. And to this day, I'm very grateful that I went to a white school and not a black school. I left Howard University to go to a white school in Lillywhite, Connecticut. And I'm glad I did that. Because it gave me an excellent perspective of the two. And then the bigotry and the falsity that has been indoctrinated, institutionalized, even in the educational level for everybody, which disenfranchises not just people of color, but whites too. So, yeah, yeah. So, this kind of disenfranchise, which happens to the woman and any woman and anyone. Because, history always belongs to the winner. And therefore, they rewrite the books and everything. This is an Aries moon situation where everything is subterfuge and mask and change according to the conquering culture. This is just the law of conquest. Okay? So, we see this kind of dynamic in the individual when we're dealing with the Aries moon, both in a man or in a woman. Okay? Understand that. Overall, though, I have to say, despite the fact with all of this powerful energy and tempestuous energy and the difficulty that's inherent in this aspect when it comes to a woman, still makes her quite brilliant and quite wonderful, though. Even though the men may hate her and despise her. Because a woman with an Aries moon ain't gonna take no shit from no motherfucker. She'll put him in his place. Now, the only exception will be if this woman is dealing with a Scorpio or an Aries. The Scorpio will give that woman a run for her money, and so will Aries. I'm dealing with a case now I mentioned in New Jersey. I'm not going to mention the name. And it's a horrible situation. And the Scorpio man is in total control. And when I was hired to handle this case with this woman, this man almost had her destroyed. But of course, Scorpio is capable of that. Scorpio is capable of that. And keep it going. So I had to tell her, you're going to have to fight Scorpio. And you can be a weak, wimp bitch, or the Scorpion will destroy you. And will do it with pleasure. Because Scorpios hate weakness of any kind. To stand up to the Scorpion, you got to have more than the might of God. If you don't have it, go somewhere and meditate and acquire it. Because your life might just depend on it. Because Scorpio holds no punches and takes no prisoners and will not relent. It is designed to be this way. So you have to be a real bitch or motherfucker to handle the energies of Scorpio. So this is what's going on with this poor woman that's under the grips of this terrifying situation with this Scorpio. So you have to ask yourself, as an Aries moon woman, when you are given powerful conflicts of this nature, what is the universe trying to teach you? Well, I know, to take it away from the case scenario that I've given before, this woman who is married to a Scorpio, she herself is a very, again, this is a separate scenario now, a separate situation, not the one from New Jersey. But this woman was almost destroyed by this man. And the weaker she was, the more he destroyed her, or tried to. The whole point is that she needed to transcend, because God don't give you more than you can bear. God is not going to put a motherfucker or a bitch to destroy you and you don't have the means and capability to defend yourself. Otherwise, it's an unfair match. God does not give you more than you can bear. So if you have a motherfucker or a bitch of this kind of nature that's challenging you, the very essence of your life, understand why the universe has put you through this experience. There has to be some form of evolution and transcendental evolution that must occur, in which the Scorpio Aries energy has been required, necessitated to make this happen. So the misery and suffering that you might think you're suffering under any sign of the zodiac, I just use Scorpio because Scorpio is most severe. Then there has to be a reason for it, a spiritual cosmic reason for it. And it's always for your better growth and your better evolution. There is no evolution without conflict. Understand that. So, the Aries moon woman, like my friend that I mentioned, will be, they have to develop the strength. And this strength never leaves you once you develop it. And this can be a cornerstone to help transform others. Okay? Oh my God. I reached 28 minutes. I'm over. Fuck it. Fuck it. Still got a lot to say about the Aries moon in a woman. I'm not doing a part 3. So we are going to finish it. Okay? Overall though, it is possible for the moon in Aries woman to unknowingly garner many enemies as she goes from one age to another. The Aries woman is going to make a lot of enemies. I have the moon in Aries and I have so many enemies, men and women. Oh my God. And mighty enemies too. Because I'm a force to reckon with. But I don't mean to be mean or nasty, but I am who I am. Who else can I be? So people like us with an Aries moon, we need strong bitches and strong motherfuckers. Otherwise, we want nothing to do with you. So understand that this is the strength and energy of Aries, both in the man and in the woman. Because of all these above dilemmas and dramas and traumas that goes on, the Aries moon woman needs a man who has the ability to adhere to a relationship in the face of fierce arguments. In addition to this, he must be as outgoing and fun-loving, because lady does not have much patience for tedious relationships where she gotta baby you, mother you, and do all the little mundane things that most people don't like to do. She got no patience for that. There has to be always something to keep her mind busy. Adventures usually are more valued. So a man who likes to rock climbing, surfing, and gaming is most suitable for her. Likes to work out, kickboxing or whatever, He's got to be active. Likes to go jogging, something, something. She'll settle for that. She would. Okay? A fact to be shared here is that this lady might not always be interested in relationships. She is too independent and can go for months without having someone from the opposite gender. She'll buy a dildo and take care of her masturbatory desires and needs. She don't need no dick, no human dick anyway. She's perfectly fine with a dildo. So you got these women who are so self-sufficient and self-supporting. And let me tell you, masturbation for both a man and a woman does serve a cosmic purpose. But we won't talk about that because I'm not contracted to talk about human and male sexuality. You have to pay for that personally and charge, and then I can discuss it. But not on a forum. I haven't been issued a contract like that. And if I do accept that kind of contract, trust me, it'll be extremely expensive. And I don't think you two will be able to afford it. So, but yes, in between, you know, she will always enjoy a session of good flirty talks. She loves a good flirty and mental fuck. Oh, she loves it. And so does Miss Gemini. And of course, well, the air signs. And Virgo. Virgo loves mental sex. Right? There's some exception. Can she stay faithful though in relationships? Oh boy. Why do I go there? That might be a whole messy kind of worms. The woman, of course, has more of a moral compass than the man does. So I'm going to go with a yes when it comes to the Aries moon woman. She'll be faithful. The Aries moon man, a flirt to his fucking heart. And a whore. Just like the Pisces man. I know, I've been there. Not no more though as a priest. Those days are over. But understand that that's part of the profile of an Aries moon woman or an Aries moon man. You gotta have fun. Aries rules sexuality, well, like Scorpio. So if you have the moon in Aries, sex is gonna be important too. It's gonna be important. Okay, so these are balancing forces that has to occur from within. So when you become involved in a relationship, in an intimate relationship, in an interpersonal relationship, these energies can be balanced from one partner to another. Okay? There's a lot to say about the moon in Aries, but I'm not going to go any further. We're past the time, and that's what I'm contracted for. If you want a birth chart and a reading, personal reading, just call me. 347-485, oh God, 6258. I hate this part. But anyway, we're done with this series, and now we're going to proceed with the moon in Taurus. Trying to go.